Music and Booze with Mo is produced and distributed by EatsDrinksTV, a service of the Center for Culinary Culture, home of the Cocktail Collection, and First Reel Entertainment, and is available wherever fine podcasts can be heard. The Center for Culinary Culture, telling the story of food and drink, one taste at a time. Welcome to Music and Booze with Mo. I'm Mo Herms, and I've worked in the music industry most of my life, so have met some pretty amazing musicians over the years. I also love a good cocktail, and I've encountered some really interesting bartenders as well. It seems that there's a lot of crossover, so when I can, I like to talk to musicians and bartenders about music and booze. Join us at the bar, won't you? Music and Booze with Mo is brought to you by Barkeeper, a head shop for cocktail lovers, located at 614 North Hoover Street in Silver Lake, Los Angeles. Stop by for barware, vintage glassware, a carefully curated collection of spirits, and one of the most impressive selections of bitters anywhere. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook for information regarding spirits tastings. That's barkeepersilverlake.com, and also in the Virgil Village neighborhood of Silver Lake, Los Angeles. On this episode, we're going all the way to Bangkok because over there in Thailand, there's a bar called Tropic City, and we're going to talk to Sebastian de la Cruz, who's one of the co-founders, and today divides his time between creating cocktails for the bar and creating a vibe as the main DJ and booker of all the DJs in this space in Bangkok's Creative Arts District. So let's meet with Sebastian and talk about his humble beginnings as a bar back in Stockholm, and there's all kinds of good music to come.
So my name is Sebastian de la Cruz, originally from Stockholm, Sweden, but been based in Bangkok for almost 10 years.
Wow.
My career has been behind the bar and was always a dream to open my own bar, which we did in late 2017, which is Tropic City.
In Bangkok.
In Bangkok, yeah.
So
cool.
I
moved for a job in hospitality and to take over a beverage program for a hospitality group here, and moved together with my friend from Stockholm as well that I was working with, Philip, and we worked with that group for 2 years in Bangkok, and then we decided to open our own bar together as well.
So what's it like opening up? I mean, I'm in the States, so I only know what it's like to open a bar in the States, but what is it like in Bangkok? Is there a lot of red tape? Is it really simple?
It's definitely a roller coaster of emotions. It's not it's not easy. It's like I would say if it is your dream to do it, go ahead. But if it's like, yeah, I want to open a bar one day, yeah, maybe don't do it in Bangkok when you don't know how to read any documents and
oh
stuff
gosh.
Yeah,
that must have been very hard. Yeah, because the alphabet is completely different than what we're used to.
So I mean,
not Western letters
exactly.
there.
So we were lucky to have a good lawyer that helped us out a lot. And
I was gonna say you have to bring somebody else in. So
yeah,
but you did it. You realized that dream, and so and as expats as well, doing that. And
exactly. So I mean, you have to have. We were lucky with good timing. Also, you have to put a lot of trust in people. Stuff you can't do yourself, like trust people that they will handle it, which is not often the case in Thailand, especially with contractors. But at the end of the day, we made it. So yeah.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. Well, I want to hear about you, Sebastian. I want to hear like how you got started in hospitality because you were doing it before you came to Thailand, right? Working in this business for a while. Behind the
Yeah.
bar, all of that.
So I think, I mean, I started quite early already when I was 19,
Hmm.
bar backing. I remember I was a summer in France and didn't have any money. Came back and kind of asked my mom if she had any like suggestions. I said, "Oh, I have a friend who actually is a bartender. Maybe he can help you out."
Oh,
It was
so your mom got you started in this?
yeah, exactly, which is
I love
not
it.
very very usual, but uh, I mean, it was just like this salsa joint where all the Latinos in Stockholm used to hang out, and
Mhm.
I mean, it was yeah, barely a bar, but I mean, you have to start somewhere, and
Mhm.
then I started to buy like cocktail books. I think my first book that I had was uh, The Craft of the Cocktail.
Oh, the Dale
Yeah,
DeGroff.
Dale
Hmm.
DeGroff. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then and then I started to realize, this is very different from everything we do. Like so you start to question stuff, and then you got like more interested in cocktails. Uh, and then you start to hang out in the cool and like a little bit more high-end cocktail bars in
Hmm.
Stockholm.
Hmm.
Start to talk with people, and hey, maybe I can come on a Sunday. I do a shift for free just to learn. Yeah. So yeah, I went on that way, the old school way. Like
Wow, that's really cool. That's like quietly ambitious as well.
yeah, I think I always like when I like find something interesting and
Mhm.
I see okay, this is like I always challenge myself to like, oh, I want to be good at this and uh yeah, see how long how far I can take it, like
So what was it that you wanted to create, like to craft basically like a nice cocktail? Were you finding yourself just really intrigued by learning about spirits? Was it a combination of those kinds of things?
I think it was more the creation, like
Yeah.
um always like I always liked sour drinks like sours,
Oh,
pisco sour, whiskey sours.
yeah.
That's also like kind of really fell in love with the tiki drinks when I discovered tiki drinks.
Hmm.
Uh, like especially with tiki drinks, all the different layers of flavors that you have to balance with like
Hmm.
booze, the spirits. I mean the sweetness, the
Right.
spice,
Yeah, there's a
the
lot going
ice.
on in those
Yeah,
drinks.
it's so much going on, and that was like, oh wow, when you nailed that, for me
Yeah.
it's like the ultimate cocktail, like so.
Yeah.
So I was always like uh always trying to find like, oh, how can I change different classics very early on, and make it like my twist. So I think that's like the way I went about it. And then I'm more of the old school. Like I like as like yeah, all the old school way of doing drinks. And
Mhm.
I think one of my other favorite cocktail books is uh the one by Deaf and Company.
Oh, uh-huh. The
Yeah,
first one, not the Cocktail Codex.
no, the first
The
one.
first
And
one,
I thought,
which
okay,
I
this
forget
is
what
really
it's
like
called.
my style of making drinks and the
Hmm.
philosophy behind the bars, and a little bit like different from everything that is done now. And
So
I think
basically, oh, no,
yeah,
continue.
and I think also we kept that with Tropic City. We don't do any like, I mean, we do a little bit some modern techniques, but not we don't take it too far. Try to stay humble in the old ways of making drinks as well.
Well, that's what I was going to ask when you were in Stockholm still. Were you, so you were saying, and I love this, that you were bar backing and then you're like, actually I'm going to work my way into places. Did you wind up, after you volunteered for a few shifts, did you eventually wind up working at one of these more high-end places and you were able to establish yourself there?
Yeah, I mean, it took a while, but like uh, people recognized that I was passionate and wanted to take the next step. So uh, and also kind of discovered tiki and started to work in a tiki bar, what wasn't really popular uh, in the hip cocktail bars, but I find okay, this is can be my niche, you know, like so try to make this bar popular, and which I did as well. So
Well,
uh,
there's an argument to be made. Well, I think a tiki cocktail was the first craft cocktail, really, because they were making these drinks back in the 30s that
exactly,
were very detailed and layered and had to be done properly in order for them to be balanced. And
exactly.
that kind of thing wasn't coming
I'm
around
very
until later.
firm believer of that, and
Yeah.
try to like.
So what
And
took you to Bangkok then?
I mean, kind of I went to first I went uh to the States, to New York, and discover a little bit the New York scene there.
Yeah, yeah. And that's kind of a
And
rite of passage too, isn't it?
yeah, exactly.
Did you
I
work
remember.
when you were in New York?
No,
No,
just
you
as
just
a like
visited.
yeah, just visiting.
What were some of those places that you needed to see?
I
The
mean, Death and
pilgrimage places.
Company, Milk and Honey back then.
Oh, yeah.
Clover Club just opened.
Hmm.
Uh, Pigou Club at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, so and this I was still like in university, so I was like, oh, I have to decide like what should I like go full in hospitality, and yeah, that's when in New York is where I decided, okay, I'm gonna like give it a chance
You
and
can
go.
do it.
Yeah.
You must
So
have
the
some
next
great
year,
memories when you were
yes,
there.
the next year I yeah tried to work a little bit like more and more in Stockholm and getting places, doing some cocktail competitions. Then the next summer I went to Tales of the Cocktails in New
Oh,
Orleans, and
yeah.
you know, like, okay, wow, I need to like there's a different world, like there's more than
Yeah.
just sweet, you know, like so. Yeah, and then like after that, I was like, okay, I done myself a name in Stockholm. I want to try to work abroad, kind of. I thought back then I was 26 because I was like, oh, I'm getting old. Is kind of my life, which I realized I wasn't old at all.
Well, in your
uh,
20s, everybody's older than you. You're just like, look at
yeah,
anyone, just think, oh, they're so old. I can't get that old.
and then I
But that's
applied
a
for a
great
job.
time to leave and go travel, though,
It
and
is, it is, it
because
is.
you're
I
much
think it was the
braver.
perfect time. It was the
Yeah.
perfect. I was still like young, hungry,
Yep.
had a lot of stamina, you know,
Right.
being, yeah.
And not afraid. You don't really worry about if you go out there, you're like,
Exactly,
I'll find
exactly,
a way. That's what you
exactly,
say.
exactly.
So you're
So
26 and you decide you want to travel or work abroad.
yes, I applied for a job in Japan actually, and through this hospitality group that were already based in Bangkok,
Mhm.
uh, and they wanted to open something in Hokkaido in Japan. So I was like, oh, this sounds really cool. So I applied, I got a job, and then they didn't get the permits to open, so they asked if I wanted to come and join their team in Bangkok, and
Wow.
they also asked if I wanted to bring somebody with me. So it's I asked Philip, my business partner, and
Hmm.
we came basically together. And then yeah, I mean these guys they're also from Sweden. They were kind of the uh, first guys to kind of do anything uh, craft cocktails related in Bangkok,
Yeah,
and
I was gonna
kind
say.
of open up, and also being expats because before it
Mhm.
was unheard of in Bangkok having like they were like three blondes behind the bar. They got super, so they were quite like they already like they were quite big, and they like so we just followed their kind of their fame and path, and
Mhm.
then but also like doing something different while working with them, and
Yeah,
like getting our own connections and stuff like that.
right.
And then after 2 years, we decided to open something on our own.
That's really brave. And
With their blessings, we're still very good
yeah.
friends. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
good. That's good.
yeah,
My experience in Thailand it's quite a while ago, but I remember being there and, you know, feeling so different when I was there, which
yeah. It's a
hasn't
lot.
yeah, it hasn't been something I've experienced much because I the term that they like to use here is ethnically ambiguous. I can go to a lot of countries and no one is quite sure where I'm from. So that's kind of a plus, but when I went to Thailand, that was the first time I did not belong. You know, they knew I was not from there. And I remember it, you know, feeling it was a little bit challenging wandering around. And then I remember going up to Chiang Mai and feeling like, oh, this is where all the expats are. I went to Chiang Mai and I felt like there were all these people from Europe there and all of this. And so it's interesting to me. I didn't have that feeling in Bangkok. I mean, Bangkok, it was like tourists and then Thai. And
Yeah.
so you guys establishing yourself there and opening something there just sounds really like daring almost to do that. You know, how was it? Was it intimidating to you? I know you said you had to hire someone you could trust to read the paperwork, but I mean, how have you done with language and fitting in and all that kind of stuff?
I think it's all right. I mean, most people in Bangkok speak English. It's more, you know, like we never had an experience in construction, or
Mm.
took us a while to find the right space.
I can say
But
that
when we
for any
found it,
bar.
but when we
Anytime.
found it, was like, oh, okay, this is it. We took a big risk because that area wasn't very, was not a lot of F&B or nightlife going on.
Hmm.
Just a couple restaurant just open. But then we saw the like, oh, I think this is gonna be okay. It's gonna be a destination, but it's also gonna be very hip in a couple of years. We had a gut feeling,
Yeah.
so we kind of, it was already becoming kind of the creative district of Bangkok.
Hmm.
But for nightlife, it was some art galleries and stuff like that. But for
Mhm.
nightlife, nothing at all.
Not
Uh,
yet.
yeah, and then that's like just good timing, like-minded people that kind of thinking the same way, and yeah, and so a lot of good restaurants started opening up, and in our little like just street is like a Michelin star restaurant, a super trendy Thai restaurant, a super trendy Japanese izakaya. So
Mhm.
it all works together, you know, so people can come and have a full night now, like just like doing some, and a lot of different bars also opening up
Mhm.
in the yeah. So it was like taking the risk to okay, make this neighborhood happen, you know, like.
Yeah. So when you were when you decided, okay, we've got the space, it's going to be Tropic City. I mean, did you have this concept in mind before you got the space, or did the space kind of tell you a little bit what it was going to be?
I mean, at first we just wanted to open a bar,
Hmm.
but then when we saw the space, we were like, hey, we should do something tropical here, and especially like with the background I had in tiki drinks, we
Hmm.
wanted to do something very different. All the bars at that time were like speakeasies, dark,
Hmm.
uh, like leather sofas, big thick wood bar
Yeah,
counter,
yeah.
yeah, stuff like that. So we were like, at first we were like, maybe we should do something like that. Then like, hey, let's do something totally different, and also like, why not take advantage of everything that Thailand has to offer in terms of fresh fruits, and like
Yeah, totally.
probably the best. And then like, and also like, it was stunning because nobody was like taking advantage of this. Like even the bars in the hotels, if they had a pina colada on the menu, they did it with like not even
Not
fresh
fresh
apple
juice.
juice. No, exactly. So it's like you have all this food here, is nobody is doing something with it. So,
Mhm.
and like everything that was like, oh, tropical bar was just like a bamboo shack on the island or something like that.
Yeah.
That was people's thoughts about tropical drinks in Thailand. So we wanted to do something in the city, open something, yeah, something kind of an oasis in the city, in the concrete jungle of
Yeah, I love that. Everything I've heard about your drinks is that they're fantastic. That,
thank
you
you.
know, best stuff there. I've had a few friends. I think I was sending you guys a note that I have a friend who's on his third trip to Bangkok in a year. And he recently reached out to me. He's like, have you talked to these guys for your podcast? I'm like, I'm trying. And he's like, that place it's my favorite place. I have to keep going back
Oh,
every time I go. But also, I always hear about how you guys have really created a party in that part of
yeah,
town, that it's where people want to go and have a great time.
yeah, and also like so when I decided to like to work behind bars, I was like very, very like divided. Should I go the music way? Because I always like, I mean, I always been into parties and always like, and so either I was like, oh, should I start bartending or should I like learn how to DJ? And
Yeah. You can do
I
both.
always been on the back of my mind. I always like loved setting the mood with the music.
Mhm.
Uh, like try to keep it kind of more interesting when it comes to music and not
Mhm.
too commercial. A little more music from different part of the world, you know, stuff
Yeah.
like a little bit more eclectic. And
Mhm.
and that was a very important thing for Tropic City. We wanted to not like first of all not only have cocktail nerds and people who comes just to judge the cocktails,
Mhm.
to include the fashion people, the music people, the DJs, and that's made a very good mix at Tropic. Like everybody's welcome. But yes, well, like quite early on, we had a very good mix of people and um, good DJs who started to play and yeah. So I was like like very specific with the music creation
Mhm.
to know it.
Well, you run
Uh,
that program, right? I mean, if do you book the DJs as well?
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
I DJs. I
You book the
also
DJs and you also create the playlists that are playing when there's not a DJ.
and I'm also like these days more DJing than behind the bar.
Oh,
So
really? So you're on
and
so when did you, since you were saying you were torn, when did you learn to DJ? Or did you just
I
make
mean
yourself learn?
just like uh
In the last couple years?
yeah, I mean no, it's been yes, I mean since we opened basically Tropic City and just like getting to hang out with so many DJs, I was like I have the music, so why shouldn't I start playing as well? So that's
Absolutely. So
uh,
that must mean that you've loved music like always.
I even like started I even like uh um starting to collect records even
Mhm.
before having turntables and stuff like that. So
You know, I've
just
heard that's pretty common. I'm a little older than you, so I started with vinyl and then CDs came. But I hear now about how they call them Uber fans here in the States, and that there'll be kids who buy the vinyl but don't have a turntable. It's just like buying a collectible piece of art or something for them. And then at
yeah,
some point they get the turntable and get to listen to
I
it.
think I so we started so I had a decent record collection already, and
Mhm.
then I was like we were uh doing a festival in Thailand, so we had kind of our own stage where I
Mhm.
also like booked the DJs, but I said maybe I should bring my records just to like play anyways, not like during the day.
Yeah, yeah.
uh One of my friends who was a big DJ in Bangkok. He said, "Hey, you get all the music. You just need to learn how to mix. It's not hard."
Hmm.
He kind of took me under his wings, and from there, yeah, I started DJ with him. And unfortunately, he passed away.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
He was like a big mentor for me,
As I say,
and
you have to keep DJing to honor everything that
yeah,
he taught you.
a big icon in the DJ scene in Bangkok. So when he told me that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. And then it's been 5 or 6 years
That's
since
awesome.
like slowly gravitating more and more into music. So
Mhm.
also the music curator for a new nightclub that opened in Bangkok where
Oh,
we
really? Oh,
DJs.
so you really are doing a lot more music these days other than bar stuff.
So I try. I mean, I try to combine both,
Hmm.
but I would say at the moment is probably 60-70% music, and then 40%
That's
bar.
amazing.
Yeah.
Did you, when you were young, I mean, you have to have always loved music. So when you were young, did you want to get involved in music or anything? You know, when you were a kid, did you think, oh, maybe I'll be a DJ or maybe I'll play guitar?
I wish I really like wish I would learn an instrument back then when I was
Mhm.
younger, but I was more into sports and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Uh,
So you
yeah,
liked music, but it didn't become an obsession until you were a
I
bit older.
I think I didn't know how much I like music.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think my dad had a big like music collection of different music, everything from reggae, rock,
Hmm.
salsa.
Hmm.
So I always like had it in the background. It's always, I think, like without thinking about it, I always enjoyed it. And
Yeah.
uh,
Do you remember some tracks from back then that stuck with you? Some of your dad's reggae tracks or something? Or
yeah, I
was,
mean, a lot of Alpha Blondie and stuff like that.
ah, that's interesting.
But everything from that all the way to Pink Floyd.
Hmm.
Uh, so
And it was just always there.
yeah, it
So,
was there.
so then you only started, it sounds like you started becoming, we'll say a music director, as it were, like once Tropic City opened, unless you had, did you have opportunities to craft moods like that before?
No, it was like just like I mean, Tropic City kind of gave me a platform without like just I had to take it without like knowing I was taking it, like
Yeah.
and then yeah, and then I mean it's booking the DJs every month. I was like it's almost like creating a cocktail menu, like
Hmm. Hmm.
have kind of music all the time. You have to think about who's gonna bring the mood in, like a little bit something for everybody.
You know, you sent a playlist over and I was listening to it before we talked, and it is really sexy. I was like, each song, I was like, well, is this what you play at the end of the night? Is this how you get
Uh,
the mood started? I made me want to know about the kind of moods you have at
yeah,
Tropic City. Because I know well, I know when the DJs come in, that's when it's like banging stuff, right? I mean, that's you
it
want
is a
people in
lot.
there. The
I
high
mean,
energy is for when the
yeah,
DJs are
a lot
there.
of like groovy music. I would always
Mhm.
say like that's always been my DJ style as well. I play uh, everything from Balearic, house, hip
Mhm.
hop, R&B, borderline techno, but at least as long as it has a groove and like
Mhm.
yeah, that's the most important thing. And same with Tropic City, but I think Tropic City is a little bit more. Um, it's a combination of like disco and boogie with
Mm.
house. Yeah, so
So
uh,
who are some artists?
well, music, well, like African disco,
Oh,
like Caribbean,
cool.
a lot of
Nice. I was going to say, I would love to know some of the artists because, you know, I've worked in music forever and everyone just assumes I know everything, but that is absolutely not true because you sent me a list and I didn't know a single artist on it and everything was so good. And it was like, it was such a vibe. And I'm just like, I can work with this. You know, it made me want to like plan something for myself. I'm all, okay, you know, I can plan a party around this. I can plan an evening around this because it was very, very much a mood. And I loved that. So I'd love to know, like, are there certain artists? Well, I sounds like when you're creating the playlist for Tropic City, it's like we were saying, it's more the when people are just kind of hanging out and all of this. But what are some favorite artists that you have that you like to throw onto the playlist? I'm sure there's some that come up.
I mean, it's hard. It's all depending on
Really?
the surrounding, the settings.
Yeah.
I mean, because like when I'm DJing, it's kind of like the underground scene is there's so many like it wouldn't make sense if I would say a name or a
Well, then
DJ.
what
Like
are some artists that you yourself are in love with now that you've discovered since you've been there?
I mean, okay, I will
I'm
tell you like
asking for myself because I want to investigate these
right.
people.
So okay, me as a DJ,
Mhm.
there's one Swedish producer that is kind of like a big inspiration just because like his label kind of started not started but like really made the Swedish housing
Mm.
known around the world.
Mhm.
and their music is very fun, groovy, playful. His name is Axel Boman.
Okay.
So like it is quite a big producer these days. Like if you're into like that kind of music,
Yeah.
festivals and stuff like that.
Oh,
But he's
I have a little rave past. But I love house. I've always loved house, and I've always loved all the various, subgenres within house.
yeah,
Always
like
been something
basically
to enjoy.
that's kind of music you play.
Mhm.
I say I play house music, but then there's so many different styles of house. You have like
Mhm.
Chicago house, deep house, or acid house, or
Tropical house. I mean, a couple years ago, tropical house was everywhere, and I was
I,
like, I love this. And.
I think just house music is it's just good music, and it's meant to bring people together and dance
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
and dance in any way you want to dance. Like there's no specific way you have to dance it. You can just like nod with your head, or you can go
Yeah.
full in like voguing. It's up to you.
I'm a fan of what I like to call chair dancing. I mean, if
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not feeling, I can sit there, but I can still be like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't have to get out of the chair. I can still sit there
Oh,
and have my drink. That's amazing. That must be so much fun for you to get to do that. But are you still crafting? Are you still making drinks behind the bar? Are you still working on those menus?
not at Tropic City so much.
Mhm.
Like these days, I'm only in the way, but I consultancies and pop-ups and like next month I'm going to India and Hong Kong to
Oh,
do
that's
like
amazing.
get to travel a lot and do drinks in other
You do
bars.
drinks and then you can bring your playlist with you so that you're representing all the way around.
What we do also like so when we do guest shift these days, like because people know that the music is so important for Tropic City, people ask, okay, can you bring a bartender, or like either Philip or Aaron, or bar manager
Mhm.
usually does the drinks, and I DJs to
That's
create the whole.
awesome. That's so cool. This must be like a dream for you at this point.
I mean, yes, I
I
feel
mean, I
like
know it's work. I know it's still work, but
yeah, I mean, yeah, you must have the best life. It's not true. You're constantly working 24/7, but at least is something I really enjoy doing. So yeah.
well, you guys obviously have done it right because Tropic City has gotten a lot of notice over the years, since you guys came on the scene. I know it's been, a Tales of the Cocktail nominee for your team. It's like World's Best Bars and Asia's Best Bars. It keeps popping up in these lists. So people are aware and enjoying it, obviously. You must be really happy that it turned out so well.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the best feeling is when you haven't been in the bar for a while, and then you come back and you start to realize, oh, yeah, this is
This place
actually
is pretty cool. Well, I always have to ask people, and I'm curious as for what yours may be. I think I might have given you a tip, what your cocktail and musical pairing is. Like, what do you want to have sit down and drink, and what do you want to be listening to while you're enjoying that drink? You know?
yeah. I mean, it's probably it. I always say three cocktails because those are my three favorite cocktails. I don't have any preference, but
Okay, that's fair.
it's either a pina colada, a mai tai, or a pisco sour.
Oh, cool. That was one I wasn't expecting, but you did say you love sours, so I should have expected a sour in there.
Or
So
into
the
like the sour drink. So like yeah, depending on what kind of vibe, but then uh, just like a nice groovy uh, R&B song from the 80s,
an
maybe.
80s R&B. Oh my,
Yeah, I mean like post disco kind of almost house R&B
you got to
kind.
give me a name. You got to give me somebody. I'm trying to
Yeah,
think 80s, which is like my
okay.
era.
Tribute to my DJ mentor passed away. This was kind of one of his favorite songs. I will send it to you.
Yes.
By Mr. Fingers.
Mr. Fingers.
Yes. Wait.
I don't know this. I love that I don't know this. But obviously I will know it soon enough, right? So
Yes.
Mr. Fingers in a Mai Tai, or a
Yes.
pisco sour, or a pina colada.
Mr. Fingers is, yeah, he goes by different name. Also Larry Heard. He's one of
Ah,
the like very first like Chicago house
mhm.
producers.
That's
I
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, you definitely have to send me a link to that so I can listen to it later. Because Larry Heard actually sounds familiar to me, but Mr. Fingers does not. And now I'm feeling like I totally should already know that. But that's why I like to have these conversations because I do learn something every single time. And you obviously are a student of house, and I love that.
I'll send you the right song. There's a couple ones I need to choose one, but I'll send you the right one.
Awesome. Well, I think that we could actually wrap it up and you can just let me know. Don't go away, but do let me know the social media stuff. So people can follow you if you want people to follow you. They can follow you, they can follow the bar. What are the Instagrams and other ways people can find you on the socials?
All right. So my personal Instagram is actually Don the Beachcomber.
Is it really?
Is
Wait, is it Don or Dom?
no
D-O-N?
Don like his actual
Like the
name.
actual Don the Beachcomber. Because what's funny is I know the people who are restarting the Don the Beachcomber brand. We can talk about this later.
Already been asked to like give it away for a little bit of money, but I have
I'm
to like.
sure. Is it Don with two N's?
No, it's only with one
With
N
one
actually.
N. Okay. So that's probably why they didn't come after you. So D-O-N, well, I mean, not come after you, but try to get it back from you. So Don with one N, Don the Beachcomber, and that's you. I love that. So that's your
And
Instagram, and then Bangkok, or I'm sorry,
oh,
Tropic City.
yeah, Tropic City BKK.
Okay, cool, cool. And that's where people can get up to date, find out, and they can find out about your pop-ups if they follow you, right?
Yes, our pop up and yeah, our DJs and yeah, kind of everything.
All the things. Okay, cool. Thank you so much. I loved this, and I wish I was going to Bangkok again sometime soon. I don't know when, but I just think it's such an amazing city, and I love that you guys have created this little pocket of art and culture, and of course, late night partying.
That was the thing. Like when I said to my partner, film when we moved to Bangkok, we're gonna be friends with everybody. Like we need to be all kind of people, and I
Nice.
think that's kind of reflected into Tropic City. Like we have all kinds of people there, and
That's
everybody.
awesome.
I hope feel welcome.
Big, big thanks to Sebastian for taking some time to talk with me about cocktails and sexy music. If you want to hear his playlist, which, like I said, is such a vibe, go over to Music and Booze with Mo on Spotify and you will find Sebastian's sexy Tropic City grooves ready for you to listen to. It's not a really long playlist, but boy, it really is something else. I enjoyed it very, very much. And if you want to find Sebastian over on the Instagram, well, first off, check out Tropic City, which you can find at Tropic City BKK. And then for Sebastian, it is Don the Beachcomber, D-O-N the Beachcomber. I get such a kick out of that. Anyway, thanks so much, Sebastian, for being a part of this and hope that you all enjoyed it too. Music and Booze with Mo is brought to you by The Mermaid, a cozy neighborhood bar with an aquatic flair in the Little Tokyo area of downtown LA. Open 7 days a week, featuring tropical cocktails and snacks, The Mermaid also has a daily happy hour from 5 to 8 p.m. Follow The Mermaid on Instagram at TheMermaidLA to hear about upcoming events and check them out at themermaidla.com. Head to 428 East 2nd Street, Los Angeles for a drink. thank you for tuning in to our barroom chats on Music and Booze with Mo. For more info about today's guest, or if you want to connect with me, check out my Facebook page, Mo Herms. Please subscribe to the podcast and feel free to tell all your friends about it. While you're there, give the show a rating and a review. It really helps to get the word out. If you want to hear the playlists our guests have curated, search She Be Mo on Spotify, SHEBMO. Find pictures of the interviewees and the cool stuff they create on the Music and Booze with Mo Instagram account. Lower your expectations and join us at the bar. Till next time, cheers.